Well now, what do you say we step inside and take a look at the ceiling, take a look at the finished product here. There you go. Let me step on up in here. Walk down here towards the other end. We'll talk about this here in just a little bit. Now let's swing back around over here. You get another shot looking from the nose of the trailer back towards the back door. We think it come out real good. We're real pleased with the end result. Now that opens up a lot of other things that we get to do now. But keep in mind, let me mention this one more time. This stuff ends up weighing roughly about 0.67 pounds per square foot. And I did a quick figure on how many square feet we actually hung on the ceiling. And the material itself adds up to around 75 pounds or so. Now if you add the weight of the furring strips that we put up here as well, the total ends up being just a tad over 100 pounds on the ceiling. That's for the entire ceiling. A tad over 100 pounds. We'll of course be putting the cabinets in here before too long. We're actually contemplating having a regular cabinet shop build a few of them. We're going to check into that here in the next couple of days. It'll save some time, cost a little bit more money, but we do have kind of sort of a deadline here that we want to try to meet or get as close as we can. So we are going to check into it and see if it's feasible to have some of the cabinets made by a professional cabinet shop. Anyway, that's that. Let me swing back over here now. And the slant nose has posed a little bit of issues. You would think that on the slant nose, you know, it would be a steady flat slope, if you will. But after doing some more experimenting and checking, I find that the slope actually has a little bit of a bow in it. It's not a typical, you know, flat slant going down. So it'll make it difficult for me to try to put the same material there. So what we've opted to do instead, and we've thought about it, we're actually going to do a drop down. The slant nose drops roughly about 11 inches from the total height of the trailer down to where you see the beginning of the V in the nose there. That total drop in 22 inches is around 11 inches. So we're going to do a build out there and build it out flat and end up with a 11-inch flat wall hanging from the ceiling there, and then we'll cut some ovals in that for cubby holes. There actually won't be a whole lot of space, usable space left because of the slant and because of the way the V you know, comes together. But we will have it set up so we'll have, you know, some storage right there. Directly below it we'll have a cabinet mounted here, and there'll be some cabinets mounted over here. But anyway, that's kind of our plan, and we're just going to kind of figure it out as we go. You know, first we'll start building the drop down, and then we'll figure out what we need to do from there. And that's what a lot of this build has been, is just a little bit of you know, doing this and then seeing what you end up with, and then figure out what you got to do from there. So anyway, that's what we're looking at there. Now moving on, I will say this about the ceiling. The reason why I paused there for a little bit, I'm using a different camera, and it appeared that maybe I wasn't recording all this time, and it shows that I truly have been. So anyway, I'm experimenting with a different camera I've had for a long time, so we'll see how it comes out. Anyway, I will say this about this material, and just keep in mind on this material, it is very rustic in nature, and we figured we would need 8 bundles to do the ceiling. Well, we bought a total of 9 bundles because we knew from previous experience that we may end up culling a few pieces, or we may end up having to cut some bad spots out of a few pieces and not be able to use them. We actually came out better than we thought we would. But still, it's $10.98 per 14 square foot bundle. So it's that extra $11. It didn't make us or break us at all. And that way, we made sure that we had, enough decent pieces to put together. We still fought it a little bit here and there because some of the pieces were bowed pretty good, so we had to work them in there. But all in all, it actually went up a whole lot easier than I anticipated that it would, especially when I remember the difficulties I had when we did the ceiling in our motorhome with the same product. Now, as we got closer to the edge over here on this side, and kind of over here on this side as well, we didn't concern ourselves too much with using really, really good pieces there because overhead cabinets running down the side on both sides will cover a lot of that. So when we knew that a cabinet would be covering it, we were a little more, we weren't quite as picky as what we used to finish it out. But all in all, it came out real good. We're real pleased with the end result. When we get on down the line a little bit further, we will be doing a clear coat on it. We have two options there. One is to use polyurethane. Another one is to use polyacrylic. Polyacrylic does not have an odor like polyurethane. Polyacrylic also does not tend to yellow like polyurethane will. But we're thinking we might want to do the polyurethane because we may want the yellowed look a little bit. We may actually like that look. So I think I might have mentioned this before. We are experimenting with that right now on a scrap piece. Painted one end of it with one and another end with the other. But anyway, that's the deal there. The next thing we're going to start working on, we're going to go ahead and mount the power inlet at least, and it will be going down here in the nose, down here towards the bottom. And then of course the power panel will mount roughly right in this area right in here. And what I may do here at first, we went ahead, we're going with a 50 amp service, by the way. What I may do first is just mount a couple of temporary surface mount plug-ins on this wall here, just so we can have lights to work with, maybe run a fan, not have to run cables in and out through the back door, that sort of thing, while we're working inside the trailer. And that would just be a temporary thing. We did order a what they call a dog bone. This particular dog bone will adapt 20 amp, which is a regular drop cord. It'll adapt 20 amp over to fit the 50 amp twist lock power inlet that is going to be mounted on the nose of the trailer. So we should have it in by this weekend. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick cooking here to show you what the ceiling looked like, kind of talk to you about it a little bit. I will say this too, if you don't want to fight it as much with this product because it's a little more on the rustic side, Lowe's does have another one that is still a 1/4 inch thick and goes together in the same fashion, but it's a better quality and it's not near as rustic. It actually has more of a beadboard look, but it's a third more money. It runs around between $15 and $16 per 14 square foot bundle. But the weight issue and things like that should be the same. It should weigh, right at the same, right at 0.67 pounds per square foot. So, as far as the weight situation is, there shouldn't be any issues with that. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. Deb would not allow me to put her on camera today because she's been working real hard while I was out taking care of financial responsibilities today. She worked real hard at cleaning up the shop. If you would have seen the shop this morning, for that matter, you would have seen all kinds of sawdust everywhere, a mess everywhere. Anyway, she got it all straightened up, and she even fired up the lawnmower and did a little bit of mowing today. And of course, the trailer was an absolute mess as well. And she's got it all nice and cleaned up now on the inside, so we can start with a fresh canvas, if you will, and make another mess. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. I hope everybody's having a good week so far, and we'll do some more interesting stuff, some stuff that's more interesting, and start moving on with the project now, so you can see how we handle plumbing, see how we handle electrical, see how we handle cabinets. We've got several things to show you coming down the line. But for now, we're going to sign off. Y'all take care. Have a good week. And we'll see you again in a few days or so. Bye-bye now.